Well, greetings, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to our Arrow After Show. Sorry, we're a couple of minutes getting going here. This is, of course, our show talking about Arrow, and this is being recorded on Wednesday, November the 13th, 2013, for Arrow Season 2, Episode 6. First of all, of course, I am being joined by the lovely and wonderful, my wife, Ann Campia. Ann.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And you want to introduce who's to your right?
Yes, and to my right is the other half of Team Amazing, Miss Kaori Take.
Hey, guys. Hey.
And it looks like, oh my gosh, there was a bunch of streaming going on before we even started. But oh well. So we are here to talk about Arrow Season 2, Episode 6. We're trying this live. So this is the first time we've tried doing this live. So forgive us for any kind of snafus or mistakes that we make. We do have a chat board open. I already see there's a bunch of you guys in the chat board. So we are keeping our eye on the chat board. So I think what we'll do is we'll talk about the episode for a few minutes, and then we will take your questions and comments on the chat board. So just get ready to throw in your questions and everything in there, and we'll kind of do it that way. So anyway, let's get started. Anne, let's start with you. Your overall impressions, thoughts, and stuff for this episode of Arrow we just watched.
I love this episode. I know I'm trying to hate an episode. I guess I didn't really like episode 4, so I haven't been consistent with the love, but I really did enjoy this episode. I thought it was going to be one of those Smallville filler episodes with Deadshot and Diggle's going to get his guy, and that's going to be the end of that story. But there was really a lot more, and there was so much. I don't know if you guys got the impression. There was so much in the first 10 or 15 minutes that I was trying to keep up with. But I thought there was a lot of story that happened in this episode, and I was very happy with it.
What about you, Kaori?
Well, for me, I felt like a lot of the entertaining aspects of this episode were actually not the main storyline. It wasn't Diggle trying to get his wife, but it was more the shock of Felicity kind of making it so obvious that she really, really likes Oliver. And there was another one, The Hive, but that wasn't really had to do anything with the storyline. So yeah, that's cool.
I really did like what they did with a number of. Okay, first of all, I like heist episodes and heist movies in general, and the whole idea of having an episode where they got to plan this elaborate break into this Russian prison, get the girl, get out. I mean, you could base an entire movie on that. So I really like that aspect of it. I did like that we finally got to see a little bit more of a different side to the Summer Glau character. It was nice not just seeing her as the robot, like the Terminator character. It was nice to see a little bit more humanity to her. That was pretty cool. I also did like the whole notion that they were showing us. She's always had Smoke. What's Smoke? Is that no? What's her name?
Felicity.
Felicity
Smoke. Yeah. That she always let the innuendo slip. It's like, I really like being under you. I mean, all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of nice that for the first time they just kind of put it really out there. That, look, I clearly have feelings for you, and like, why are you sleeping with this other girl? I mean, you should give it to me. And so it was kind of cool seeing all that. So, yeah, so Anne, let's start with you. Let's go with some of the positives, some of the negatives about this episode of Arrow. Start with the positives.
Oh, I was going to go with the negatives first.
All right, start with the negatives.
I have one very big negative.
You want.
And I'm sure you guys can guess what that was. I am still not buying into this whole Roy-Thea relationship. I don't really care for it. I think it's a waste of screen time for me still. They tried to integrate Roy, having him in the beginning of the episode, kind of taking the first bad guy down. But really, it was just useless to the story. I think the real story lied in finally getting to see the trio come together again. And this was all about the trio. This was all about Diggle, where we really haven't had a Diggle-centric episode. I was totally stoked about that. And I think for me, that was key. And also just the quandary we found Diggle in, having to save somebody that he loves, but working with somebody that he truly hates. And then we find out a lot about the history there, too. So I was really impressed with this episode.
Kaori?
All right, so negatives. See, I kind of like Roy Harper. Actually, I kind of really like Roy Harper. Thea I can do without, but I do agree with you. In this particular episode, that plot line was completely pointless, and there was no point of her shunning him away only to have him back in literally 30 minutes, our time, right? But another thing that I really liked was the development of the island and checking out how Black Canary was handling the situation, how she backstabbed him, and Deathstroke with the
Oh yeah, we
burns.
start to see the Deathstroke that we knew we were going to see coming. I can say one of the things that I hated about this episode, and I liked the episode very much, but one of the parts that all three of us were just kind of rolling our eyes at was like, okay, so the lawyer comes to the sister and says, "Hey, it's going to look bad in the public if you are dating a rap-sheeted criminal." Okay, so Tia, go and talk to Roy and say, "Hey, the lawyer told me this. For the next 6 months, we got to keep it on the down low. We got to publicly make it look like we've broken up because I want to keep my mom out of jail. I want to help my mom's case. I don't want to hurt her case. So when we're in public, for all intents and purposes, we got to look like we're broken up." But no, they got to play some kind of stupid, campy drama card. No, I'm just suddenly not all that into you. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, but don't we know, guys, that is the way women do things. That is how we know women do things, right?
I disagree.
So
Disagree.
maybe it wasn't that far fetched that they did it in the show. No, so I didn't like that. There was another thing that I kind of rolled my eyes at a little bit, but it couldn't have been too bad because I'm not really thinking of it right now. I like the fact that they reconnected. In this season, one of the really cool things they're doing is they're reconnecting with little elements from season one. And in this one, it's like, oh yeah, he just showed up at the Russian mafia place, and it's like, oh yeah, you're a captain of the. It's like, wait a minute, how'd that happen? And now they explore that, and they show how that actually came about and how that happened. And I thought that was really cool the way they did that. The whole break in, break out. It was a little bit of a sweet coincidence that Deadshot is hanging there in the same meat locker that they put him in. It's like, okay,
Same pipe.
A little bit of a coincidence there, but other than that, I thought it was really cool. I like the fact that he did the one night stand with Summer Glau.
You do?
Yes.
I do, because that is in line with the image that he is trying to make Oliver Queen have.
Right.
And to me that made sense. It made less sense to me that he was tipping his hand to her a little bit more by speaking Russian in front of her and all that kind of stuff. See, I had more of a problem with that than of him dragging her up to his room and banging her in the hotel. Like, to me, that made more sense because it's in line with the persona he's trying to create and give, as opposed to the tipping his hand about how smart he is and intelligent and all that kind of stuff. That's the part of himself he's got to be hiding. So, but still, I like the fact that he did that. It gives a new dimension to the. But what about this? Explain this to me. Oliver says to her, to Summer Glau, why all of a sudden this big passion to save my family's company? She goes, because I'm in business, got to be the best. Just 2 episodes ago, her goal was to take the company apart. When did this sudden change happen that she wanted to save the company?
She might be just having conflicting issues like us women tend to have, right?
Or she's playing
you
him.
You women and your conflicting issues.
Conflicting or whatever. Maybe she's just playing him. I mean, they could be trying to play each other.
I do not like their hookup. As we were watching, I cringed. I said, please don't let this happen. Please don't let this happen. And it happened. I'm not satisfied with this storyline. I hope that it doesn't happen again. But I have a feeling it will, because it's going to become a problem in this.
But see, I don't think they're setting up a relationship.
No,
not a relationship.
I think just Ollie's banging the hot girl, the hot CEO.
But it won't be the only time. I feel like there's going to be another time, and it's going to cause conflict somehow. Not necessarily with these two, but with Felicity, perhaps.
Yeah, but isn't the bigger problem with Felicity going to be Sarah? Isn't that going to be the real issue? All men, right, guys? We all have like at least 2 going on the side, but Ollie now has like 3. Ollie's got like 3 now on the go, right? He's got Summer Glau, he's got Felicity, because they haven't done anything yet, but obviously there's always been very, very warm feelings there. And of course, we know who he's destined to be with, which is Sarah.
Right.
So, is it really Sarah?
Whoever the Black Canary is.
It's Black Canary, but it's also Laurel Lance. So
Laurel is not going to be Black Canary. She can't fight.
I feel like they're going to do something with her.
They are doing nothing in the story this season thus far that makes us believe that Laurel will become Black Canary.
She wasn't in this episode, which was nice.
Yes. That was another positive.
Yes.
No Laurel.
Yes.
Oh, that might be my favorite part of this episode. I didn't even think of it. Now if they just had no Roy, it would have been a great episode for me.
Oh, I like Roy. He's good to look at.
He's a handsome dude, but Laurel's good to look at too, but I still don't want her around.
That's right.
Laurel's a very sexy woman, but it's like, come on, please, please. I thought the breakout was good, although there is a little bit inconsistency too, because during the breakout, right? Okay, so Arrow this season's all about, I need to become something else. I can't be the killer I once was. I think they took out a dozen Russian prison guards who were just dudes doing their job at the Russian prison. They were
Did Oliver
they were the
actually,
good guys.
Did Arrow actually kill any of them?
No,
I don't
but
think
he
so.
had part of his crew just gunning
Okay,
down
sure, but-
Russian soldiers.
Maybe that applies only in the States or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Necessarily.
maybe. If you're not American, if you're not carrying an American passport, you are fair game for the bullet to the head. Because think about it, those weren't. It's not like they were mobster guards. Those were good guys. Those were the Russian prison guards doing their jobs, and they just killed a whole bunch of them.
Technically, he didn't kill anyone.
Crazy prison, by the way.
Yes, that was a very crazy prison. Okay, so let's do something a little bit different. We've got a live chat board going here right now. So we've got our eyes on it. So, and you guys can keep an eye on that because we're on a little bit of, I think about a 20-second delay, but so, guys, start firing in observations or questions for us, and we'll spend the next couple of minutes just taking questions that you guys have on the board. So, Anne, have you seen anything that catches your eye so far?
There's a lot of talk of Hive.
Hive.
There were a ton of DC comic book references in this week's episode. So, Hive being one of them. Argus, Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller. We didn't even touch on that yet.
Oh, yeah.
Amanda Waller's first appearance in this episode. But can I say, before we go to the chat, there was a reference in this episode, and I don't know if they were making a pun at S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't think so, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What they
But
say.
Felicity says, we're going to Tahiti. And isn't that what
Yeah.
Colson's line is?
I'd be honest with you, I didn't even
catch it.
I didn't even catch that.
I
at
mean,
first.
whether it was a direct pun at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or not, I smiled when I heard that. And I really hope that they thought that through to have that as a direct shot at their competitor.
Maybe.
There's no
although it
competition.
didn't really sound like a shot.
No.
It was almost just like a vague reference. Now that you mention it, I agree with you. I think it was a reference, but it didn't sound like there was any insult to that.
No,
It's
I
like,
guess
it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like Felicity said, "Oh, we're just going to some idiotic, stupid moron place like Tahiti."
Exactly.
They didn't do that. So, but I mean, you're right. You bring up a great issue too. As we should start seeing the things in the chat board here soon. There's always a lot of discussion I find, like on my Facebook page and on my Twitter. People, whenever Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. come up, a lot of people want to mention Arrow. There is no contest as to what's the better show.
I agree.
There's no contest. I mean, we planned on doing 2 after shows this year. We were going to do 2. We were going to do Arrow, and we were going to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because we were all looking forward to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so much. And I'm not going to go on a big diatribe about how much Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. disappointed me, just to say that after watching the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I said, I don't know that I want to do an after show of this.
No.
And then I said, give me a couple more weeks to watch a few more episodes, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And look, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a Marvel title, so it's going to get the bigger TV ratings right now because it's connected with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But there's no question. There's not. It's not close. The better television program is Arrow. In every single way, the better television program is Arrow.
Well, put it this way. When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to make a reference to a comic book, anything, they'll put Thor's hammer, for example, hypothetically, they'll put Thor's hammer right in front of you, and it probably says Thor on the hammer. Whereas in Arrow, if anyone noticed, they subtly, in a news clip, talked about a particle accelerator, some sort of technology, whereas all of the fans of Arrow have to believe this is alluding to and getting at the fact that Flash is coming. I mean, we have to think that that's their subtle way of kind of introducing how Flash is going to have that ability. And so whereas Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has to throw it in your face 10 times, Arrow does it so subtly and they integrate it into the story so well that you just don't even question when things come up. It's just, you're just in the world.
Right. So do we got anything on the anything else coming in on the chat board
Yeah,
here?
there's quite a lot.
What do we
Let's do
got?
that one.
Question by Tyler Palzer. What are your thoughts on Nightwing appearing on the show due to all the Bloodhaven references?
I don't think just because they reference Bloodhaven that means Nightwing's going to show up. But I mean, there are reports going around right now that they are looking at bringing Nightwing in. But if they do, I'll guarantee, much like with Smallville, Batman is off limits. There's going to be, even if Nightwing shows up or a character called Nightwing shows up in Green Arrow, I pretty much guarantee you there will be zero references to Bruce Wayne, to the Dark Knight, to Batman, to anything like that. Warner Brothers is very clear. They're very protective of that property. They're not going to let various different media out, whether it's their television network or they're not going to start letting everybody in the company having a piece of the Batman pie. They're going to be very, very protective of that. And if he does show up, and Nightwing is a character who would fit well into this Arrow world. But if he does show up, I guarantee you there will be no references to... There might be a reference to Gotham, but there'll never be a reference to Bruce Wayne. There will never be a reference to Batman, none of that kind of stuff.
No one closely related to Batman either.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let's see. Grant Robbins, do you think Slade will appear in the present soon due to the Hive reference or Talia?
Well, I mean, there are a few people. I'll take this one first. There are a few people on my Facebook page and on Twitter, stuff like that, who are, speculating that Summer Glau is Talia al Ghul. There is no reason to suspect that, other than the fact that she's Summer Glau and she's a female character and she's there. But I mean, this is TV land, so I mean, anything's possible. I wouldn't. Let's put it this way: if next week they do a big reveal that Summer Glau's character is actually Talia al Ghul, I'm not going to fall over and die of shock. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but I wouldn't fall over of shock. Who was the other one? Oh, when are we going to see
Deathstroke.
Slade?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what in the first episode of this season, when Diggle and Felicity go to the island to find him, Oliver's got that. Head on a pike. It's like, did he already kill Slade?
That's just the mask, though.
Was it just the mask?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure if it was just the mask or if it was actually a head.
I think it's coming soon.
It's coming.
Yeah.
They're already alluding to that conflict, which, by the way, I'm not really happy with. The whole cuddling, making Slade feel better, and I really hope it's not a love triangle that kind of really blows this.
I hate when chicks
open.
ruin a perfectly solid friendship between boys. It's not always like that.
Right? No, I don't know.
That's because guys know that we can share.
Wow.
But girls are too
coming.
close-minded. That's just
I mean,
the thing.
I didn't like the part where she had to, oh my gosh, your burns are getting, I need to warm you up, so let me get in this blanket with you. Really?
It was
Did that have to
Twilight-esque.
happen?
It was totally like Twilight. But
I expect more from Shadow,
Right. But the reference to Hive, I mean, Deathstroke was hired by Hive, so
I don't know what your guys' problem is. Slade was clearly very cold. And I think she was being nothing but courteous.
Well, if she was trying to be courteous, she would have gotten naked and then gotten under the blanket.
I choose to believe that's what happened after they went to commercial break. I believe she is that courteous. So, thumbs up for courtesy. Okay, let's take like maybe two more. What else we got there, guys?
Ethan Williams question. So far, what do you guys think will be the undertaking of season 2? Will it be Hive or Mazo? Maybe even Ivo?
Ooh, that's tough. I think Hive is an interesting thing, but
we have Brother Blood.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That
I
we
think
totally
Brother
didn't see
Blood
this
is going to
episode.
be a big thing coming up soon, and maybe the undertaking might have something to do with Deathstroke pretty soon too.
I gotta believe that the big main overarching threat theme, I think, has got to be League of Assassins. I think that's good. I think we'll see other storylines run underneath it. I think we'll see some more stuff about Brother Blood. I think we'll see Hive stuff. I think we'll see a number of things. Just like in the first season, there was the undertaking, but then there were a bunch of other sub stories that ran throughout the season as well. I kind of feel like this season is going to be about the League of Assassins, and then there will also be other little things running, smaller things running underneath it. But I think the larger, but I mean, we could be wrong. I mean, it might be something completely different. But that's kind of what I suspect right now. What else?
Let's see. Do you think we will actually see Raj Al Ghul? I call him Raj, like you rage. Horrible spells. And chances the serum is connected to Bane?
Oh.
It's a good
I
question.
thought serum connected to turning Slade into Deathstroke before I even considered Bane in the picture.
I don't think Bane's going to enter.
I don't think so
That's
either.
far.
No, I think that's going too far.
Yeah.
But there has to be something that turns Slade into this kind of superhuman, really strong guy, just like the Captain America in the Marvel world. There's got to be something that creates this ability for him because he's not there yet. So I'm thinking that serum has to do with it.
It might. Will we see? Well, yeah, I think we'll see Ra's al Ghul.
But that, yeah,
I do. I don't think there's any point in mentioning him
right.
unless at some point you're going to show him.
I think we're going to probably see Talia before we see Ra's al Ghul, though.
Oh, I completely agree.
So-
Completely agree. Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how they've put this into the Arrow world of Stephen Amell. So,
Yeah.
All right, let's take one more question.
okay, one more. Do you think will any of the main characters die this season? Thea, Diggle?
One can only hope.
I know you thought of one.
I'm thinking everybody's feeling good, and they all decide, hey, let's go to the movies. But they only have 2 cars, so they have to split up in 2 cars. And in one car is Felicity and Oliver and Diggle and Sarah. And in
Okay.
the other car is Laurel and Roy and Thea. And they get into a horrible car accident. And
that's kinda sad.
that was arranged by the League of Assassins. And they hit the wrong car. They meant to hit Oliver and Sarah's car, and they hit Laurel and Roy's car. And yes, and at the end of the season, we lose all 3 of those pieces of dead weight. Yay!
No, it will never be that easy.
No, it would
Maybe
not
we
be that
can
easy.
somehow ship them off to the island forever.
I have a question for you guys. How are you guys feeling about Sarah, aka Black Canary? Do you like her character? Do you like her in this episode? I get frustrated with her because she seems so. Things could be so simple, but she's making things so complicated, and she looks so puzzled all the time and so distressed, and she's making a mess of things, and she's backstabbing her friend. I just get frustrated with her.
And that's exactly why I love her character. You explained why I love her character in your reasons for hating her character. The conflict in this character, the multiple dimensions of this character, I love it. I don't know about you. But.
No, I do. I think it's perfect because we've seen in previous episodes that she is carrying some pretty heavy shit around with her. When the previous episodes, I mean, she is so ashamed of her life that she doesn't even want to let her father know she's alive. She doesn't want to let her mother know she's alive. She's living in such shame and regret that when we go to these flashbacks, we better see some stuff that is causing that level of guilt and that level of shame. I got a feeling because Stephen Amell, Oliver reveals that he thought she died twice. Okay, well, once was in the boat. I think he thinks he kills her at some point in the show. I think there's gonna come a conflict between the 2 of them, and Oliver believes he's killed her. I think that's where they're going with that. I could be wrong.
That would be a really nice twist, actually. I hope you're right.
And then she spent the last 3 years trying to somehow redeem, because now she's going around into cities and beating the crap out of rapists and beating the crap out of criminals. Maybe this is her way of trying to redeem herself. But in order for her to carry that guilt, we got to see her do some nasty stuff. Because we were watching when she gives Oliver the radio. And it's like, to me, it was like obvious. She's just trying to get him to flush out his friends.
It was not
and
obvious to me.
then it happens. Then the big betrayal happens, and you 2 are like, oh, I turned this like what? You didn't see that coming? Like, that was obvious. Sarah, say it ain't so. All right, guys. Well, let us know what you guys think of us doing this live. Because if you think it's fun doing live, then maybe we'll continue doing it live. But do us a favor, get the word out about our little after show. If you're a fan of Arrow and you like these little discussions, take this show. It's going to be up on YouTube in just a few minutes. Take the show and share it on your Facebook page, share it on Twitter, help us get the word out about it, and that would be awesome. So, Anne?
Yes.
Where can people find you online?
You can find me online by my name, Ann Campia, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of those good stuff.
Kaori?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Kaorious. It's on the bottom. I hope I'm pointing right underneath, right? No, other side. Well, you
other
know,
side, yes.
you can find me there.
And you can find me here at John Campia on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. So thanks a lot for joining us, guys. This has been our Arrow after show for season 2, episode 6. We'll be back again next week. We hope you join us. And until then, where's my control? There it is. We'll see you later.